Hello, crypto YouTubers. This is coinpicker.us, and today I am going to do a couple of things. One is I'm going to review some coins that one of visitors to the channel requested that I look into, Lisk and Dragon Chain. And then two, I'm going to discuss a theory that I have that seems to be playing out and has a big impact on the cryptocurrency market. It's a bigger picture theory, so definitely stay and watch throughout the entire video because I'll cover that at the end. But let's get going here really quickly. Oh, and just to remind everybody who this is, it's coinpicker.us, and I have a custom algorithm that I created on my site. Go ahead and click here to sign up. Get onto my email list because I send out an email that every day describes what the likely trend of the market is, what particular coins are going to rise that day, also some long-term picks that will vary a little bit over time so that you can jump in and out when I see that there's something has changed in the market. But you can also use the trend indicators to figure out which coins are going to be rising rapidly, and you can jump on for a quick profit for the day. But let's get to Lisk very quickly. Lisk, for those of you who are not familiar with it, is a JavaScript platform. So JavaScript is one of the most popular and powerful languages out there. Wonderful language. Unlike Ethereum, which you have to write. If you're going to develop an Ethereum and create your own token, you have to write it in, I believe it's Solidity. And it's kind of an oddball language. Most developers don't know it off the top of their head. I mean, they haven't worked with it, and it's a rather challenging language. JavaScript is different. JavaScript is a common language. Most developers are familiar with it. It isn't all that difficult to use and a very easy language to work with. So that gives Lisk a unique proposition. And as it stands now, I'm not a huge fan of Lisk, but I am reviewing it to let my viewer know what what my opinion is on it. At this point, Lisk is destined to tread water, more or less, or go lower because it's slightly overbought in the stochastic RSI. Buyers and sellers are somewhat, in fact, you know what, I don't have real, yeah, it's got a positive trend in the MACD, but it is reaching a high point. I'm going to get one of my favorite indicators here that, if I can get it in play, will give us a great idea of what's really going on. Okay, EFI. Yeah, it's fairly well what I've said. I don't see Lisk making any big moves either up or down, but down is the more likely scenario. I mean, look at the EMA. It's dramatically overextended on the EMA. So the likely scenario is down in the near term, and this is on a 1 week basis, so that could be an extensive down period. But Lisk is a positive project. In the scheme of platforms, Lisk does offer some additional utility, and one of the things that they're doing very, very well, I don't have it pulled up here, but they're engaging in social platforms very well. So I see that Lisk has decent long-term potential. I do not think, and it has not at this point, outperformed projects like a Walton or even an EOS to a certain extent. Stellar has more immediate upside potential. Let's take a look at Dragon Chain, which, by the way, I could not get the details on Dragon Chain on TradingView. So that just shows you it's not quite at the level of some other projects. Let's expand this really quickly here. Take a look at some indicators that I like to use. If they will work. Okay, well, Dragon Chain, in terms of relative performance, is lagging. And that goes with the theme that all projects, and this is the majority of projects, do not have a deliverable product at this point are going to lag those that do. And the deliverable product coins are Ethereum has a platform, Stellar is in practice, Neo is in practice, NEM is to a certain extent in practice, Dragon Chain is not, EOS has a testnet, but that's it. Quantum or Qtum, they may have one, I'm not very familiar, but it's not developed. Lisk, as far as I know, is not fully developed and not launching a lot of ICOs. Some of the other platforms are launching ICOs. Steam is a sort of a platform for that, and a very, very strong pick. It's one of the stronger picks in the entire market because it's a functioning platform. It has a large user base and growing. as a cryptocurrency, it offers a lot of advantages, nearly instant transactions, feeless, etc., etc. So Lisk has a lot of competition ahead of it. However, I think Dragon Chain also has a lot of competition, but Dragon Chain has the backing of Disney, and it is a corporate-friendly project. However, it hasn't been fully delivered, and that's the issue. Long term, both of these could rise. Currently, and for the past history, both of them have been susceptible to the entire market trend. And in my opinion, right now, let's take a look. Let's take a look at BTC to USD. Okay, BTC USD. Let's take a look at our investing. We're rising up, but it looks like we might have a bit of a downward leg coming, is what I've determined. I cannot get the yeah, it doesn't want to show me. All right, you know what we're going to do? We're going to use a more friendly version here where I can get everything I need to tell you how the market is performing and what to expect. Bitstamp will work as well as the other ones. Okay. We're rolling over on the MACD where sellers are in control still in the, and this is 1 week. Sellers are still in control, although they're losing. I mean, it's basically heading towards positive, but sellers are still in control. And we're coming down, as I'd mentioned in my earlier videos, we're coming down to meet with a 20 moving average. Let's see what we're going to do in a day. Okay. This appears to be moving up in the day. CCI close is it's moving up in a bounce, and stochastic RSI it's at a down level, or it's a down level, but it could regain. This one's bent towards, this is oriented towards higher. MACD is down, and in EFI we're regaining. We're going in a positive direction, but sellers are still in control. So there is a bit of an upward bias to BTC. But not a super strong one. Not a super strong one. Let's look at, because we are in a downtrend here overall. So let's look at Ethereum, which is the other one. And again, this impacts directly. Okay, Ethereum is just trending, not doing much of anything in terms of no high moves and no low moves expected. CCI, slightly more positive than negative. Stochastic RSI definitely should be rebounding. It may be slightly oversold in that regard. MACD trending indicated as well. Sellers are still in control in EFI, but it does have a mild positive bias. It does have a mild positive bias. Now, one of the things overshadowing all of this is that the dollar dropped like a rock today, and surprisingly, one would think that cryptocurrencies operate in reverse to the dollar. It turns out not to be the case for the most part. But there is some aspect of it, but it's not directly the case. In fact, people sometimes often go to gold and silver or even to cash when the dollar drops, which is bizarre. But right now, I'd say the tendency in the total market, if we look at the total market, oh boy, here we go. Let's get rid of that. If we look at the total market on, let's go to CoinMarketCap. Take a look really quickly, and we'll take a look at the chart. We're just treading water right now. We haven't moved much anywhere. I would say if we just take a look at a 7-day, which will give us a better idea. Okay, we crested, but we failed here. We failed. We tried, we failed, and now we're dropping down. Now, it did go up a little higher, but I'd say the near-term risk is to the downside versus to the upside. Now, on a daily basis, it just looks, yeah, it's kind of treading water. We failed. I would say the near-term risk is to the downside. That's what I've been saying. So if you're a day trader, you want to pick your coins very carefully. The only ones that I would say are going to have an upward bias still, even though it's probably going to take a breather. Walton has risen too far too fast. Not much of a breather. It's still going up. Still going up. And it's one that I said, if you check one of my videos earlier, it said if you have one coin to choose, which one is it going to be? And I said it's Walton. And I picked that a while ago. And if you had bought in when I said that, you would have added over 55% to the value of that while everything else has dropped. Everything has dropped. So it was a very good call, and it's just trending up beautifully. Doesn't look like there's an awful lot of end in sight, although there will be a dip down here at some point. It's gone up a lot in a down market, and there will be a period where it drops in. But nonetheless, it's a very good long-term call. All right, here is the major news that I wanted to share with you. This is what I think we're experiencing, okay? If we look at, well, let's go back to Walton. Let's go back to the coin market cap, all right? Let's look at the big picture. Maybe 1 year. Let's do 1 year. We have this waterfall drop, okay? So the big issue is, and everybody's saying, oh, it's going to recover, it's going to be back, hodl. Great. I'm in agreement. Cryptocurrencies are going to be with us for a very long time. The market isn't disappearing. So I'm not going to say that. What I will say, though, is this was a bubble. Not only was it a bubble, but we're in bubbles in everything. If we go to investing.com here, what I'm going to show you is that, let's go to the look at the indices. This is kind of tricky to navigate here. Oh boy, that doesn't really want to work for me very well. All right, we're just going to click on that. And I'm going to show you the NASDAQ. Let's go to, we don't want futures. Doesn't really matter that much, but let's do the NASDAQ 100 and see if they'll show us. But this is what I want. The NASDAQ is all we really need to see. Okay. 1 day, that's not good enough. Let's do 1 week. Let's do 5 years. All right, you see that? Okay. This is becoming an exhaustion blow-off. Let's make it max. Okay, we are an exhaustion blow-off. Does that not look a little familiar? Yeah, it does. Here's what my prediction is. Here's what I said. And I've already published this to my email subscribers, which I encourage everybody to do. Subscribe. That the cryptocurrency market is the most speculative major vehicle right now. Forex is also speculative, but the beta in Forex is much lower. That's why a lot of people use extreme leverage. The crypto market has some leverage in it, but not nearly to the extent that the Forex market. So I'm labeling the cryptocurrency market as the most speculative market. The way markets work is the most speculative rises the highest, falls the farthest, and falls the fastest. That's how it generally works. Not exclusively, but generally. Back in 2000, the NASDAQ rose extremely high, 5,000, 6,000, in that neighborhood. Yeah, right here it tells you. Right here it tells you. Bada bing. No, it was higher than that, actually. It was higher than that. I think it was 5,000. May not be able to show it here, but I think it was 5,000. Anyway, on a monthly close. Yeah, on a monthly close, that would be it. But there was a day close where it knocked it out around 5,000. I wonder if it will change and show that to me. No, it won't show it to me. Yeah, so NASDAQ hit 5,000, dropped down eventually to 2,000. Okay? But NASDAQ hit that, I think, somewhere like January 2000. By March, April, no, maybe it was a little later, February of 2000, something like that. By June of 2000, the S&P 500 rolled over and dropped like a rock. But the S&P 500 had not risen anywhere near as much as the NASDAQ had. It had risen pretty well, but nowhere near. So the NASDAQ was the early warning system for the S&P, because the S&P peaked 2 months later after the NASDAQ, or 3 months, something like that. That's what I'm saying, and nobody else has recognized in the market, as far as I know, especially on the cryptocurrency market, because there's not really much good analysis going on in the cryptocurrency market, as far as I can tell, that the cryptocurrency market has displaced the NASDAQ, and now the NASDAQ is going to roll over next, and then the S&P 500. That is what I have predicted is going to happen. Now, I sent that out today. I talked about it earlier today, and it's basically already beginning to play out, to my utter shock. I expected it to be 2 or 3 months. And what that means, if you're trading cryptocurrencies, is that and I've got to roll up this video, I'm getting too long, is that we're going to be in a down market for a while. Trade it, adjust it, And at some point, when everybody's completely fed up and they don't want to hear about cryptos and they don't want, a lot of the YouTube channels have gone, that is when the the crypto market is going to begin to take off again. So everything happens faster in the crypto market. So as opposed to it being maybe years for it to rest, it could occur in just a couple of months, if that. So the news is not bad. It's just tradable news. That's what I wanted to impart. So it's coinpicker.us. Go ahead and hit subscribe and hit like if I've added some value and given you some things to think about and you want to see me continue to make these videos. Subscribe to coinpicker.us and you will be way ahead of the trends in crypto. I also provide a list of recommended projects that changes somewhat depending on the market conditions, but I track them fairly closely. And I will talk to you tomorrow.